Welcome back to the Journey to the FarLands. All right. Okay, got everything together here, so let's break out. And nothing around that we don't like. All right, which direction are we going? We're going that way, to the west, onwards, to the FarLands. All right. Well, let's see. Get the traditional things out of the way first up on this 83rd episode of the Journey to the FarLands. And that wowould be that the size of the world right now, as of the beginning of this episode, is 3,105.53 megabytes. And so far, to date, I have traveled 245, this is the 246th Minecraft day since leaving spawn. And the world size continues to grow at approximately a rate of about 37.44 megabytes per 3 Minecraft days on average. All right, let's get these guys. I'll take that wool. And you. Thank you. All right. Okay, a couple of more here. All right, onwards. Okay, so here we are, once again continuing the journey to the FarLands. Whoa, hello. Being really careless, apparently, about where I'm walking and what there isn't to step on. Yeah, that was really not very slick. Anyway, in spite of myself, I am continuing. And let's see. Last episode I was talking about the impending closeness of an F3 event, which at this point is now going to happen shortly after this world reaches 4,000 megabytes. And I believe it was in episode 64 or so on that I first talked about the situation that is going to cause that is causing that F3 moment. It is the fact that a goal has reached a completed state. It hasn't actually achieved the goal, but it has been completed in that that particular situation is no longer valid because I was asked to take it down. And so on. And there's more details back in that other episode and so on. As for the world size goal, the idea is to reach a world size of 4,000 megabytes before doing this F3 moment as a show of discipline and determination to keep this thing going and actually make some progress and do some stuff. And so with the goal of 4,000 megabytes, I did a little bit of math. As I said before, the world size increases by approximately 37.44 megabytes on average for a 3 Minecraft day episode. And given that knowledge, I mean, that's pretty easy to figure out because I make it a point of mentioning the size of the world at the beginning of each episode, so it's easy to do the math to figure out how much it grows on average per 3 Minecraft days. And so you take that information, combine it with the fact that the current size of the world is 3,105.53 megabytes as of the beginning of this episode. And you subtract 3,105.53 from 4,000, and what you get is 894.47. Now you take that, now that's the difference between the current world size and the goal of 4,000 megabytes. It's an interim goal, not a final goal, of course. And you take that 894.47 and divide it by 37.44, and the result is about 23.88, roughly speaking. And that 23.88 is the number of 3-day episodes required to meet the 4,000 megabyte world size goal. And then the next thing you do, you take the current episode number, which is 83, and add 23 to it. As a matter of fact, if you want to be sure, you add 24 to it. And that's the episode number at which I expect to reach the size goal of 4,000 megabytes. Shortly after that happens, which I believe works out to like episode 106 or 107, shortly after that happens, it will be time to do the stream of liveness and F3ness, and at the end of the stream, press F3, discover how far I've come in total. And yeah, that will be cool, because then I'll be able to sit around and figure out a bunch of other interesting numbers. I'm not exactly a math geek, but there are times when I can have considerable amount of fun playing with the math involved in a thing. And I'm looking forward to that. And so I'm expecting that to happen. And given the knowledge of the number of episodes, if I manage to have an episode every other day, which I've been trying and recently failing to do, then this event could take place sometime in the early portion of next February, as in February 2017. And yeah, looking forward to that I am, because that would be cool. And really looking forward to doing that. And getting away from this really unpleasant, difficult to cross terrain, because, yeah, some open plains would be nice. Brief pause. That's better. Unfortunately, the coughing thing is still something of a thing. It's not nearly as severe as it was, but there are times when it becomes impossible to ignore or prevent, and thus the need to mute occasionally, because I am 100% certain that nobody wants to hear that. I don't want to hear it, but I don't get a choice. But I figure I can at least when I can catch it when I can spot it coming, feel it coming on, I can at least, at the very least, I can hit the mute button and pause the game long enough to take care of that, get it out of the way, and so on. Okay, well, speaking of a pause, looks like we're going to have a pause for an overnight briefness. Continue on. Okay. Bed down. There we go. All right. Okay. Down off of this thing, and we're going onward. And it looks like my desire for better terrain is coming to pass. This is good. So, current estimate is early February. And if I were to actually manage to do episodes a little bit more frequently, I could conceivably have this happening in sometime this month. Although that would require sometimes daily episodes, which if I can have enough to talk about and feel good enough to do so at the time, I might actually try to do, because I really want to reach this goal. This is a huge one, and I really want to get there, because that's going to be seriously meaningful. And of course, well, let's see. Oh, that's right. I wanted to mention there was another, the other day, I believe it was on the 1st or right after the 1st, whatever, when I was talking about goals and whatnot for the year 2017, actual goals in lieu of resolutions or whatnot. And I missed one. There was one that I wanted to mention, and I didn't mention it. But for the year 2017, one of the goals that I have that I would like very much to achieve is that I would like to reach the point at which I never, ever, for the remainder of my life, however many millennia that may cover, I never, ever want to be concerned about being cold in the winter. Because I have been very concerned about such things in recent years, for the last 4 or 5 recent years, and it's no fun. Trust me, it is absolutely no fun. Like, for example, this morning, when I awoke this morning, the temperature outside was 7 degrees Fahrenheit. 7. And the temperature in the house was a paltry 33 degrees. This is not exactly what you would call a great way to wake up in the morning. I mean, that's the kind of cold where you start shivering, and it's what I call it a whole body shiver. Because the shiver starts and it just takes over your whole body, and you shiver from the inside out, because it's your body desperately trying to do something to warm up. And you can't move, you can't control the mouse. Heaven forbid you should try to type, anything like that. It's just, ugh. And so the way I warmed up in the morning and today enough to stop the whole body shiver and be able to function at least a little bit. So I go into the kitchen and I turn the oven on, like 400 degrees. I give it a couple of minutes to preheat a little bit. And then I open the oven and I stand in front of the oven with my hands in the oven to warm up enough that I can actually do something with my hands. Because my hands were so stiff and cold that they were pretty much sort of like clubs on the end of my arms. And yeah, that's getting to be a thing that I do more and more these days, and I want to never have to do such a thing again. I firmly believe that every human being should have a home that is not cold. And I would like to join the ranks of those human beings that have a home that is not cold. And nor do I want it to be hot in the summer, you know. And of course, anytime I mention this, there's always folks that have helpful suggestions. And I know they mean these suggestions as being helpful. You know, they're not trying to be nasty about it. They really genuinely mean that, hey, you know, if you do this, it'll help you out. And to a degree, they're right. But there is the factor that they have not taken into account. You know, it's like the folks that will say, well, you can't get fuel in your furnace, so why don't you get a different kind of furnace? Yeah, like that's going to happen. I can't afford to buy fuel for this one. I certainly can't afford the many thousands of dollars it would have cost to buy and have a new furnace installed that didn't use that kind of fuel. You know, that's just, I'm sorry. I understand it's well-meaning, but it's not going to happen. I can't afford to pay for something like that, and my landlord is not going to pay for something like that because the unit that is in here right now actually works perfectly well. It's not their fault that I can't afford to buy fuel to run it. You know, so no, the landlord is not going to do it, and they're not obligated to, because the thing that's in here works. As I said, it's not their fault that I can't afford to fuel it. And last night somebody on Twitter said something about, you know, I should use hand warmers. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but first of all, I've never seen any such thing around here. And second of all, it doesn't matter whether I find them around here in local stores or online somewhere. It doesn't matter, because that would require spending money I do not have. And somebody else will say, well, why don't you get you a little electric space heater? The problem with little electric space heaters is that they are good only for little spaces. I know this. I have had electric space heaters in the past. And I can tell you firsthand, from actual experience running such a device, that they're worthless. Those things, they can warm up a room the size of a closet, a small closet. They can't warm up my house. They can't even warm up just the part of it that I use. They just don't have the power to do it. I ran a space heater a few years ago for an entire month because the space heater was given to me, and I opened that up and I said, hey, all right, cool, great. And I thanked that person profusely for the thing, and I proceeded to use it. And it didn't take me very long to figure out that it wasn't going to work. And oh, that looks awesome. Let's see. HUD. Snapshot. Yeah. Okay. So I turned the thing on. I turned its temperature setting up to maximum. I turned its fan speed up to maximum. And I let it run. As a matter of fact, it ran for the entire month of January that year. I mean, I went that long without ever turning it off. In spite of the fact that I could sit 2 feet away from the thing and not feel any hot air coming out of it. Not even warm. The house stayed at 35 degrees for that entire month with the thing running. The only thing that machine achieved was it caused my electric bill to be 4 times what it normally was. I mean, I was accustomed to having an electric bill around 45 or 50 bucks, and the actual electric bill for that month's use was much closer to 200. So it was 4 times the electric bill. I didn't feel warm one bit for the entire time, and you know, it was completely ineffective. So electric space heaters are a waste of time. They're a waste of time, money, electricity, whatever. They're a waste. I understand that people who suggest such things mean it in a helpful sense, but it just isn't going to cut it. Now, I do actually have hopes that I will be able to provide my furnace with fuel again sometime in February. Of course, this is conditional upon everything going just exactly right between now and then, so that I can save as much of what I've got, as much of the little bit I've got left as I can, and add some more to it next month, so that the fuel thing becomes a thing. There's another good screenshot. And another one over there. Which will I decide to use? You already know. I do not. Okay. I just had to mention that subject because in recent days, several well-meaning folks have offered what they sincerely believe to be useful suggestions, but in reality, I regret to say that they're not nearly as useful as they wanted them to be. They're unfortunate, but true. And so we move onward. And let's see. What do I do for the... Oh, I know. I was looking over old questions, and I ran across one that I had not answered. And this one is actually from a few years ago, from Mr. Brian, who asked, any idea where the legend of Herobrine started? Well, I have taken some time to look that up. And probably the best resource for that is actually on the Minecraft wiki. It contains pretty much a full rundown of the whole thing. Apparently, the first appearance of Herobrine was several years ago on 4chan, one of 4chan's boards. And it was basically a story of how Herobrine had appeared in somebody's single-player game and started building things like little pyramids and tunnels and houses and stuff like that, and so on. Basically, yeah, that's pretty much about it. Let's see, I need to make up some boats. Oh, break this up and keep going. Okay, and later on, the whole Herobrine thing, it grew in popularity over time. And apparently a Brocraft streamer called Copeland, he did some Photoshop work and put Herobrine into some screenshots, and then apparently later on staged some kind of hoax in game using some custom texture pack work, and so on. And after that, it just kind of started to snowball, showing up on the Minecraft forums and other places, and so on, reaching the status of some kind of internet meme creepypasta thing, you know. And it's gotten to the point now where there are actually people out there who actually literally believe that Herobrine exists, but it doesn't. It never has. There is not and never has been any such thing. It is simple, pure creepypasta. That's all it is. And I mean, the Minecraft code does not contain anything in it that can do anything like what Herobrine is credited with doing. Ooh. And so on. It just can't be done. I mean, it could be with mods, but in vanilla Minecraft, no. There is no such thing. Not in vanilla Minecraft. There are mods these days that can do such things, but the mods do not predate the legend, the internet meme, the creepypasta. The mods are based on that. You know, and so Herobrine, Shmerobrine, there is no such thing. Never happened. Never gonna happen. And this is why I fully understand when some forums automatically delete posts promoting the Herobrine or claiming more Herobrine legend and whatnot. I understand why some forums automatically delete such things, because it's gotten to the point where it's just plain ridiculous. It was, I'll give you that it was a funny meme for a while, but the whole thing is old and tired and used up. And I think that the internet in general would be a better place without any more of it. It's just, it's old and overused and done. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. You know what? I think I'm going to just kind of park right here for the night, because that time of night is coming up quickly. Okay, let's get this widened out, get some lights up. Okay, let's get a bed down. Then I gotta clean some mess up and put down another one, or make some more. All right, well, all right, 3 more beds. And it looks like about it. Okay, break this up. And I want to say thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for supporting the series and for donating to Child's Play charity. You can stop by TinFoilChef.com anytime. And there's a Child's Play donation widget there. Oh, excuse me. That was nasty. Even if it didn't sound nasty, it tasted awful. Ugh. And so on. So, be sure to stop by TinFoilChef.com, donate to Child's Play charity, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I am out of here.